Roughing the passer, 15-yard penalty, automatic first down. Roughing the passer, 15-yard penalty, automatic first down.
What's going on, people? I want to welcome all of you to another episode of the Very Unsportsmanlike Podcast. My name is Quincy, and this is my podcast. And you can learn more about the show by searching hashtag VUP on YouTube, TikTok, Spotify, Apple, or you can go to www.podpage.com/15 yards to find the show archives. Joining me as usual is the homie Buck down there in Florida, my man Ray up there in Jersey. What's going on, fellas?
How's it going?
What's up, man?
All right. No time to lollygag. Let's get straight to the body bag. And we'll go ahead and start here. And let me ask you guys this. Baker Mayfield has been confident, we'll say. He released the little shirts that say off the leash, which is a reference to the dog pound in Cleveland. And he's back to being cocky and confident Baker, something we saw at Oklahoma and early in his years at Cleveland. Is confident Baker who the Panthers need in order to win? And Buck, I'll start with you.
Well, I mean, he does need to be confident. Simply because I know he's upset on how the Browns treated him. They kind of came with no warning, picking up Deshaun Watson to replace him after a good season, a season which he actually played hurt most of the season. And, he's pissed off because, I mean, he was their starter, drafted in the first round, whatnot, and the way he was ceremonially thrown out from Cleveland. I mean, they really kind of did him bad. So yeah, I understand why he's pissed, and he needs to be confident. I mean, he's going into this game with the idea that he's going to go in there and just beat the brakes off on him, and that's the way you need to do that. I don't care what player you are and what team you're playing against. But for this particular, the way that they treated him, man, I hope he goes in there and just beat the brakes off the Browns.
All right, Ray, what do you think, man? Is confident Baker Mayfield who the Panthers need if they're going to pull off a W or some wins this season?
I mean, it's always good to be confident, but I think that I totally disagree. I don't think the Browns did him wrong. I think that if he'd have signed a contract the year before last, he would have had a contract. But he tried to do the same thing that Lamar Jackson is doing. He want to hold out for more money or a better deal or what he think he's worth. And he had a terrible year last year. 3,000 yards, 17 touchdowns, 13 interceptions. That's nothing nowadays. I understand he was injured, but at the same time, a lot of this is his fault. And then he's upset about something that he should be able to understand. I mean, if I was to put that in, he's playing on the level of what Tua has done so far. Just because Miami hasn't had a playoff win and all this other stuff, Tua was hurt as well. He's playing on the level of, say, somebody like Tua. Now, if they come in and Pat Mahomes and somebody like that wants to sign on the Dolphins, what the hell you think the Dolphins is supposed to do? You know what I'm saying? And you were talking about, well, I'm the number one this, number one that. You haven't lived up to that billing. He started out playing good, but ever since then, he has not lived up to that billing. And he has to be able to understand the Browns had the defense, they had the running backs, they had everything they needed to go further than what they went. Now, I understand that he was injured, but he needs to understand they upgraded at quarterback and move forward. I mean, if the Carolina Panthers do beat the Browns, it won't be because of anything he did. So
All right.
Myles Garrett gonna have something for him.
Yeah, Miles Garrett is a beast. And like with Baker, I think as an athlete, you have to be confident in yourself. So I get the slight arrogance, so to speak. I don't think it's necessarily smart to take it out directly at the Browns. Just be confident going forward in who you are and let your play on the field do the talking. Don't take direct shots talking about unleash Big Baker or whatever and have the dog collar and all these other references to Cleveland. That just shows that Cleveland's still in your head. And I think if he's going to be successful, he needs to just move on and focus on being the best he can be so he can get the contract that he wants. Had things not gone south the way it did in Cleveland, he would have still been there as Deshaun's, backup, but he still would have been able to play this year with a much better team than, what some people would say he has in Carolina. And he could have maybe proved some his worth then and got a good deal somewhere else. But just showing that you're a malcontent and just taking shots at your old team to me is just not smart because now you've definitely put pressure on yourself. And like Ray says, if Myles Garrett does have a field day on you and disrupts you all day and you have a bad game, now you kind of dug yourself an even bigger hole. Um, as far as maybe getting a better deal or something after this season. So
Hey Q,
I just think it's a certain point. And don't get me wrong. I said what now?
let me ask you a quick question. What's the difference
Yeah.
between Baker Mayfield and Jimmy Garoppolo? See how Jimmy Garoppolo is handling?
Yeah. And Jimmy Garoppolo got more skins on the wall. At least you can say he's been to a Super Bowl.
Exactly. And is one of the 5 or 6 winningest quarterbacks of all time. And
Yeah.
then you
Yeah.
have to say, okay, but they gave up 3 first-round picks. There's no way they can keep you in there unless you won the Super Bowl. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Not just winning playoff games. You have to win the Super Bowl. They gave up 3 first rounds for this kid.
Right. And again, I understand no one really likes, as a player, no one really likes the business of things, but it is what it is. You know that, like, right, if someone gives up that many picks, unless you win a ring, you're not going to be the guy. That's just not going to happen. And so you have to understand that and just try to make the best of your situation. It sucks. I mean, it shows that you're unappreciative and underappreciated, but you just have to make the best of it. And I think Baker's doing a poor job of doing that.